Hi, welcome to Coffee and Kvetch with Zamar. I'm Zamar, and this is my wonderful husband Judah, who is joining us today.
Thanks.
Reluctantly.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, he sort of is. So this is just a kind of a discussion of current events and things going on in life that we just want to talk about and involve some humor and discussion and, of course, base it on the Holy Scriptures and from a Torah perspective. We have been watching the Revelation 12 sign on September 23rd. There are a lot of YouTube videos out there about it that I'm sure many of you have seen. And today we just kind of wanted to have a little debrief in the aftermath. This is Monday the 25th. And we're thinking there's going to be a lot of YouTube soon on...
What went wrong?
Yeah,
why aren't we all raptured?
Yes, why aren't we all raptured? Why hasn't the world come to an end? And, really we kind of want to debunk that whole frame of mind. Judah and I had the opportunity to be in Israel, standing on the Mount of Olives, watching the fourth blood moon in this series, and during Sukkot, Feast of Tabernacles, 2015. And it was awesome. We were standing up there with people from all over the world. It was dark. We didn't know if anybody else would be up there. We got a taxi up there. And there were pockets of people from all of these other countries dressed in beautiful, wedding attire, satin, beautiful clothing, praying to the Lord in their own language, blowing the shofar, singing hymns in their own language. There was a sense of expectation. Wouldn't you say?
I would say so too, but like then, people probably wondered, well, why didn't something happen? And I think the key is that just because something didn't happen doesn't mean that we shouldn't pay attention to the signs.
Right.
That the signs point to something, they don't necessarily mean that something is imminent.
Right.
And I think that's something that as people talk about the signs in the heavens and things that are happening, that they should be cognizant of, is to say, this is something to pay attention to. It's pointing towards something that may come soon, but may not come soon. I know Zamar likes to tell me that warning signs are put up long before the actual event occurs. You were telling me this morning about the sign saying the bridge is out.
Yes.
They don't put it up right there
where the bridge is out.
They put it up a mile or a half mile.
Well ahead.
Before that. So
give you time to stop or reroute, go another direction.
I just am familiar with a lot of feedback that happens on the different teachers and people who produce YouTube videos and stuff like that, that can be pretty nasty. And I wanted to at least share something that we read this morning from the One Year Bible, from Ephesians chapter 4.
Let me interject here. We like to go, after we drop off our granddaughter at school, before we have our appointments and start our work for the day, we like to, when we can, stop by McDonald's and have our 69-cent senior coffee, and I get an egg muffin.
We probably don't need to go into the details of our
we do, because this is a pretty good deal. We can both eat for under $5, including tax, so that's a big deal. So we go there, and then we have a Bible mixed study. On those days, we study out of our one-year Bible. Other days, we study out of Torah and other scriptures. But it's good reading for one day, and we do that on those mornings when we go and have coffee and breakfast.
Also gives us a chance to read a daily devotional from Jonathan Cahn's book, the Book of Mysteries.
Yes, that's excellent.
There are 365 devotionals, so we just pick one for that particular day of the year. And things are interesting. We always find something that's pertinent for right now, for what's happening. But anyway, I read this in the portion from Ephesians in this morning's September 25th New Testament reading. And I thought it was particularly pertinent to the sometimes vitriolic or very hateful feedback that Christians give one another if they think that
and others
a teaching's going out that's inaccurate.
That's right.
Or I just have a sense that this is going to happen after we are not all raptured after the Revelation 12 sign of September 23rd. So Paul writes, "Be completely humble and gentle. Be patient, bearing with one another in love. Make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace. There is one body and one Spirit, just as you were called to one hope when you were called, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is over all and through all and in all." We keep these words in mind when we're getting ready to give our feedback to whoever maybe didn't interpret a sign correctly, or maybe didn't say it in the way we would say it, or whatever. I think it would strengthen the body a lot more if we would practice in love more than in correction and judgment and spite and meanness and all the things that happen.
Well, and kind of obviously here's the coffee part, and the Kvetch part today, meant in love and humor, but sometimes it's a little fun to kvetch and rock the boat a little bit, which I'm kind of good at.
No argument here.
Is that just because something doesn't happen right after a warning, the Lord has given us these warnings, and they are becoming more and more frequent. They are absolutely astounding. It's not anything you can ignore. It's not anything you can miss. It means something, according to Genesis. That's why he put the stars and the planets, the heavenly bodies there. He says one of the reasons is for signs. And we talked about the bridge out scenario. Well, Noah's Ark, God didn't say build the ark and the flood happened the next day. Think about Moshe going to Pharaoh. He went to Pharaoh, said, "Let my people go," and he warned Pharaoh. He had plenty of time to make the right decision. And so these things are signs to wake us up and say, hey guys, something's getting ready to happen soon. We don't know when, but we can't dismiss them and say, well, nothing happened, so it doesn't mean anything. That's just not true. I remember after that fourth blood moon, people really got all over writers of books and YouTube commentators, things like that. It's like, well, nothing happened. But it was a warning of things to come. And so is the sign that was in the heavens on the 23rd. Now, whether that's the Revelation 12 sign, we're not 100% certain. It certainly seemed to fit the bill in many ways. But it certainly is a sign that says, wake up, my people, something's getting ready to happen. Look at the people that are in the in the earthquakes and in the hurricane rubble and things like this. I mean, their life certainly isn't the same right now. We had massive solar flares and we had CMEs to follow. And then there was a possibility of earthquakes and geological changes, which we've certainly had. So we just wanted to share our first coffee and Kvetch video and say, be kind and gentle to people who are watching the stars and studying these signs. Their motives are right. And we need to be watching these things and not expect something to happen that moment. I believe something definitely will happen. It just will be down the road a piece when the Lord decides. But right now, this is our warning. We need to heed that warning. We need to make any changes in our lives that are necessary. At this time of year with Yom Kippur, Day of Atonement, coming up in just a few days, we certainly want to humble ourselves and look at our family relationships with friends and coworkers, mend those fences and do what you can to forgive. You know, the Lord doesn't say forgive and immediately forget. That takes time and some work. So sometimes we just forgive in faith. So let's be a humble, forgiving people, showing love to those in our community. And let's show love to those in the YouTube community who have studied diligently and done their best to share their thoughts on these signs in the heavens with us, but with a deep understanding that these are truly signs. They are truly warnings. That does not mean we'll have the sign and 5 minutes later, catastrophe is upon us. It has been for some people these last few days. I think that's about all the kvetching I have to do today.
I just wanted to share one thing too, is that for people who do look at the signs in the heavens and things of that nature, God does order the course of the heavens, and for the most part, they're very predictable. We know that the sun's going to rise in the east and it's going to set in the west, that planets are going to appear in certain places in the skies, that eclipses, whether solar or lunar, are going to occur at certain times. But God ultimately is the one who oversees all of this, and there are instances in the scripture where he reordered the heavens. Just because a sign happens on a particular day doesn't mean it is the sign of Revelation 12. It is maybe pointing to that, but you say, oh, well, those planets or those stars are not going to align for another 100 or 200 years or whatever. Doesn't mean that God can't do it tomorrow if he so chooses. He stopped the sun in the sky for Joshua. He set back the sun 10 paces for Hezekiah. He can do what he wants to. If he wants to arrange the sign of Revelation 12 tonight, he is certainly capable.
Well, and didn't we just read in one of our readings from this morning in the When Your Bible? Mm-hmm. Wasn't it just talking about that he can marshal the heavenly bodies? Do you have it here to share?
This is Isaiah chapter 45, verse 12. It is I who made the earth and created mankind on it. My own hands stretched out the heavens. I marshaled their starry hosts.
Yes, there it is.
He set them in place. He set them in order. He made them very predictable. But he can make them just as unpredictable if he so chooses.
That's right. So our takeaway from this Coffee and Kvetch with Zamar and Judah today is heed the warnings that the Lord is caring enough to give us. A good parent gives a child warnings before consequences occur. And let's heed those warnings so maybe we don't have to deal with the consequences. Or if we do, we have come to expect them and can steel ourselves and be ready, body, soul, and spirit, for when these things do come. And most of all, that we're available to share the love of the Messiah that we follow, be his hands and feet to our neighbors, friends, community, and even our enemies in these turbulent times we're living in.
And thanks to the watchmen who are out there paying attention to these things.
Right.
They're doing hard work. They're sincere in their hearts. Be kind.
Yes.
Build up the body and love one another.
Yes. So this is Zamar.
And Judah.
L'chaim. We love you and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.